quickly accepted. And hung the phone up, and then I thought, well, what can I say? Well, I can say this, nah, that take too long. I can say this, nah, he wouldn't want me to tell that. So I'm going to try to keep this short. This is my speech. The nominee started building cars in 1984 when he was 14 years old. He finished it before he got his driver's license. His mother had to drive him to his first car show in his car. His grandfather gave him the car, and he built it in a loaned lean-to on the side of his shop. His grandfather owned a shop that we called back then a welding shop. Today we call it a machine shop. In my time, we would have called it a blacksmith shop. And sometimes when you go in there, it's still kind of blacksmithish. But over the years, he built for himself, starting in 1984, 4 cars, all of which won major awards in the street machine categories. At that point, he didn't know what a hot rod was. All he knew was pro street and street machines. But in 1996, I met him at Detroit Autorama, and we both had cars in a grade 8. He lost, but me and him both know which car looked the best. So we formed a partnership back then with Chip Foose, Bobby Walton, and Troy built one of the, I guess one of the nicest cars of the day, and it still is. It's over in the Peterson Museum right now. But in 1994, he decided to go in business for himself and open the doors of that 800 square foot lean-to. Over the years, he's built, we don't even know how many cars he's built. I asked him, he doesn't remember, I don't know. But over the years, he has built a car that won Carcraft Nationals Street Machine of the Year. He's had 3 cars that's been Hot Rod Magazine Car of the Year. He's had 3 other cars that's been Hot Rod Magazine Top 10 Cars of the Year. He's had 12 Good Guys Cars of the Year. Our pickup, he had a couple of those were pickups. He has won the Detroit Autorama Riddler Award. He's won the America's Most Beautiful Roadster Award and the Henry Ford Design Award at SEMA. And he has won just about everything he's ever entered in. And he would be the first to admit he's been very fortunate to win the awards he's had. But there's one other thing that he probably takes as much pride in as he does the trophy that he's got. Most of the cars that he's built are drivers. And every one of us in this room like to think that we build driver cars. Troy has had 12 cars that started and completed the Hot Rod Power Tour from start to finish. He's had 6 cars that competed in the Rod and Custom Americruise when they had it. In the past 2 years, he's had 5 cars that's competed, joined the Good Guys tour from Pleasanton to Dallas, Texas. And virtually every car he's ever built has been a driver. In 2004, he has always taken so much pride in driving. I gave a challenge to him of let's see how good you are. You know, let's go bottom racing. So he built a car for me in 2004, and since then he's built a couple of others. But the cars that he has built for bottom salt flats, and he'd never been on the salt flats before he built the car. He went out there with a brand new car the first time he'd ever stood on the salt. Today, the cars that he's built has got 7 records, all of them over 200 miles an hour. He's put 5 people in the 200 mile an hour club. He's put 1 person in the 300 mile an hour club. And he has a streamliner for Mariani's that we think will go in the 350 range car. When Troy started his shop in that 800 square foot lean-to, it took him 2 or 3 years to outgrow that. He partnered up with his father, Jack, and Jack had an automotive repair business in the shop, and he closed the automotive repair, and they created Rad Rides by Roy. And today he's still in the building. It's the building his grandfather was in, his father's in, and now he's in, 3rd generation in the same building. It's what in the country we call a Quonset hut. It looks like a World War II surplus building, 10,000 square feet, absolute state-of-the-art equipment in it. You take a car to Rad Rides, it never leaves the building. They make anything from the wheels to the rear view mirror. They do all the paint and body work, they do all the fabrication, they do all the upholstery. I guess they send the chrome plating out. But it's a complete shop that is capable of doing anything, and from the awards and the records that he had at Bonneville, it's evident that they do it first class. Troy, he is married for about 22 years now. He married a girl that really didn't like cars, and he's totally transformed her into one of the shop employees. He has incorporated virtually his whole family in the shop. His sister works there, his wife works there, his mother works there, his father worked there until he passed away. Troy works there every day, and I'd say all of the employees that work there consider themselves part of the family of Rad Rides. They have 12, 14 employees, some of the best craftsmen, young craftsmen that's ever come into the hot rod world, and they do it as high quality of work as anybody could imagine. He gets up every morning at 6 o'clock and goes to work. And when he goes to work, he goes to work. He doesn't have an office. A little bit farther than that, he doesn't even have a desk. He doesn't carry a cell phone, so he's in there every morning working. You have to go through his sister or his wife to talk to him on the phone if you need to ask him something. Even I don't have his cell phone number, but Troy has lived and lives today with the spirit that any man, me, Jack Trepanier, anybody, would be proud to call him son. And he is of the highest integrity as anybody in this room. And in today's world, past world, there's a lot of people out here that's built a lot of nice cars. There's no way that we can put anybody number one, but we can put a lot of you as good as anybody has ever been. And Troy is one of those. He may not be number one, but he's as good as anybody that's ever built a car. And for that, he's learned a lot from a lot of you guys that are sitting down here in this room, and he would acknowledge that in a minute. I mean, he'd tell you to your face that you've influenced him. But he never compromises quality, and his motto is to never, ever sacrifice quality to meet a deadline or to inflate an invoice. But he, in my lifetime, I've heard many times from my employees, from other people in the shop, when 3 words that I hate to hear: that will do. Those words never come out of Troy's mouth. When he gets finished with a job, it's always, that's the best that I can do. And that is all you can ask of anybody. So when I give you Troy Trepanier, Rad Rides by Ron.
Well, I tell you what, it's George made me sound good, and it's like he hit the lottery. He was my first customer, really, so it was pretty good. But I was lucky getting into this. One of the first guys that I ran across was Gray Baskerville. A lot of you guys know it. I see Pat out here. I think Pat might have wrote the first article. Gray took the pictures, but I think Pat might have wrote my first article on my Chevelle. So I think I was real lucky coming at the time that I did. We did it as a family, me, my mom, and my dad. And I was 18, you know, when I was 1990, I think I had my 60 Chevy. It was the Hot Rod Magazine Car of the Year. We went on the first power tour. It was called the Victory Tour. It was 7 cars. And Gray rode with me the whole time. Anybody knows Gray Baskerville, that's a trip you never forget. And it was, I think the timing was good because he was good. He introduced me to a lot of people. I came in like, you know, Boyd was a big influence on me. He was the guy that got the customers to spend the money and build the cars. I remember running and looking at the magazines to see what he was doing all the time. And it was Boyd, Angelo from Ford, you know, Brizio, Posey, Barry Lobeck. I mean, those guys all took me in as a young guy, and we did all these cross-country drives and kind of took me in their group, and I think it propelled me to the top between that and doing it with my family. So we had a really good start, and then met George, and you know, and had a lot of success. And I got these 2 tables here, my, you know, not customers but friends. You know, it's amazing what we do. You know, I have this stupid saying, none of what we do is necessary. But I've got 2 groups of people here that have made my life very good. And my wife never, most people wouldn't even know her face. She's the one that really, you know, we have a lot of young guys that move from out of town to come work for us. So, you know, they leave their families, and she's done a great job over the years, you know, taking them in and taking care of them. My mom likewise. I think all of them have probably lived at my mom and dad's house when they moved to work for them at one point or another. So it's been a great ride. Loyal employees. I think Moose is sitting out here. Most of you guys know him. He's been with me the longest. And we've had a good group of guys, top of the talent pool. And it's kind of neat. Some of the guys that started with me when they were 21, worked more than 10 years, have moved on, and they've had a lot of success. So, you know, people think, you know, I should be, you know, how do you feel about that? I'm like, it's great, you know, when I can teach these young guys and the guys in my shop and they move on and have success. I mean, there's nothing better than that. You gotta keep this thing growing. And probably the best thing that happened is when George challenged us at Bonneville. The shows are always subject to opinion, obviously. Bonneville, you either do it or you don't. So I like that part of it. We've had a lot of success there. He's pretty humble, you know, the fastest piston-driven vehicle ever on land, you know, and he introduced me to the Marianis, which I built a couple cars for. And when I look out and see all the guys here, it's just amazing. And you know, just walking around the show floor, seeing most of the guys I've met out here and have been influenced one way or another. So it's a great thing. And definitely, my dad passed away. He deserves most of the credit. He was there longer than I was in the morning and night. And, you know, I always say people come up and, you know, hey, sorry to hear, you know, and it was very unexpected. Luckily, he wasn't, he was supposed to have his surgery before this show last year, but he put it off to come here and then to go to Detroit because we were honored there last year. So I was mad at him for doing that, you know, just go get it done. There'll be more car shows later. But I'm glad he did because he loved this place and he loved Detroit. And it's, feel bad for my kids, you know, but I'm fortunate. I didn't go to college, so I spent my whole life with him. Probably every day, maybe other than 100, I got to see him. So I'm not greedy. These kids that work for me don't get to see their parents. So it was a great ride, but he definitely took a lot of pride in it. I accept the challenge building the cars. That's what I like. But he liked coming out on the show floor and bringing them around and standing tall. So thank you.